George Washington. He's the president everyone loves. How do we know this? Because in America, we always carry pictures of him in our wallets. As many as we can fit. He's the father of our country. Some say he's the most important American who ever lived. We name stuff after him. We get a holiday on his birthday. But how much do you really know about our first president? Find out as we play the hit game show. Who wants to win 1,000,000 pictures of George Washington? True or false? Shortly after being born in Pope's Creek, Virginia in 1732, young George chopped down a cherry tree, then confessed to it because he could not tell a lie. That's false. It was a story made up by an early biographer of Washington. True or false? George Washington had wooden teeth. False. They weren't wooden. They were made from gold, hippopotamus ivory, silver, and lead. Our founding father had a mad grill, yo. But it was something that made him miserable.
George Washington is recalled for many things, and one is that he had false teeth and he had a very painful dental problem. And there were several times when it's affected the decision-making that he was engaged in.
True or false? During his days as a young officer in the French and Indian War, Washington was such a hands-on soldier that he even designed the uniforms worn by his men. True. Work, George Washington, work it. True or false? All of these presidential firsts occurred during the 2 terms of Washington's presidency from 1789 to 1797. The first veto, the first federal bank, the first federal building, the original U.S. Capitol. All true. Come on, he was the first president. Everything was a first. True or false? Being a military man meant that President Washington was ready to fight to prove the strength of our nation. That's a false. Washington actually signed a proclamation of neutrality, declaring that America would not take sides in the war between Britain and France. Thank you very much. And finally, in 1796, President Washington became the first president to refuse a 3rd term. Yep, in fact, the man who refused to be king once got some props from a man who was king.
King George III said, if he really does that, then he's the greatest man in the world. To voluntarily renounce power was to demonstrate that American democracy was real, that it wasn't just a theory.
George Washington. He was the first. He was one of the best. And the most lasting monument to his achievements is the place he holds in the heart of every American.